Well, look at what we have here. If it ain't a bunch of outlaw posse people up in here giving everybody hell already. Man, y'all already up in here, man. I come up in here and I look in here and I'm like, damn, they started the party without me. They even watching scary movies up in here with Michelle Parson. Man, what's up with that, Michelle? You watching The Purge? Because that's what we're going to do. We're about to purge some of those con time groupies and those USC skittle shitters up in here. All the bad stuff. When you take a dump, you always flush your toilet, right? That's what we do with skittle shitters and con time groupies. So what y'all got going on tonight? What's going on, brothers and sisters of college football? What y'all got? What y'all want to touch on tonight? We got quite a few topics that I want to touch on. Seems like USC and their defense once again sort of shit the bed. I mean, for lack of a better term, they give up 28 points again. People are like, well, that's Arizona State. That's Arizona State, JPC. Yeah, but Arizona State got shut out by a G5 school last week, and it wasn't just a small shutout. Fresno State beat them 29-0. You mean to tell me that y'all give up 28 points to a team that Fresno State shut out by a good 29 points? Who y'all going to root for this week? Y'all going to root for the skittle shitters on one side or the con time groupies on the other side? Y'all let me know where y'all stand on the skittle shitters versus the con time groupies this week. It should be called the Attention Whore Bowl, right? Because I've been getting a lot of heat about con time. It's like every time I'm critical of Dion Sanders, I get called a racist. It has nothing to do with that. I promise y'all. I promise you. He just happens to be black and I happen to be white, and you're judging me by my white skin color, which ironically enough, as I said numerous times ad nauseum, makes you the racist. That's right. You're the racist because you brought up skin color. Has nothing to do with that. He's just a narcissistic jackass that wears his little Power Ranger glasses, looks like some kind of transformer, got a transformer coach name, wants to be called coach, but then he wants to add a cartoon character name to it. Right? People ask me why I don't have any respect for him. That's why. Power Ranger Coach Prime Optimus Transformer. What's that sound like to you? Sounds like a joke, man. And then this one person told me, well, it's a black cultural thing. You wouldn't understand. Everybody in black culture wears sunglasses inside. Really? It sounds like you're reaching a little bit. Sounds like a bit of bullshit to me that you're just trying to, once again, race bait. You don't understand. The Colorado State coach was a minority. He was black, and he called Dion out about the sunglasses. You see Eddie Robinson Jr. wearing sunglasses press conference? You see some of the greats, Dennis Green wearing them? Pittsburgh's head coach, the Steelers, does he wear sunglasses to the press conference? Has nothing to do with culture. Nothing whatsoever. He's just disrespectful, and he has no respect for the coaching profession that he's in. Once he starts showing a little respect to the coaching profession, he'll get it. And then you got Michael Irvin and KeyShawn Johnson on there crying and wetting their diapers after the game on Skip Bayless's retarded show on Fox Sports, talking about how they had to take Dion in that game. Even though he got blew out, we had to take him, man, because he's Dion. Okay, well, you look stupid because everybody could see it coming. I would say at least 70 or 80% of the people that are unbiased and don't try to make this a race issue saw this game coming as far as an ass whooping being. And Dan Lanning just basically told y'all how it was. And then you're going to go and say, well, Dan Lanning was the one looking for clicks. No, Dan Lanning was just looking to head someone their ass. And that's exactly what Dan did. Dan talked smack and then backed it up. Dion gets one tough game against the top 10 school and he can't back that shit up. And we got a bunch of badges up in here. If y'all see Hank, Matt Bingham in the house. Rich Castle in the house. They all got their badges. If you want that badge and you want to get deputized and be in the outlaw posse, it's not $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. It's the join button. It's the subscribe button. You'll get your Four Horsemen shout out periodically for each show that we do, as well as possibly be the comment of the day, like Killer Breeze was the past podcast. So that's what that's all about, if y'all want to get some of that. Matt Bingham says, is Notre Dame coach a black man? I like him. Exactly. Do you see Notre Dame's head coach wearing Power Ranger glasses to the press conference? No. Marcus Freeman is going to be a pretty good coach, I think. Now, last year they lost to Ohio State 21-10. It was a close game last year too, and then they fell apart. So I'll be interested to see how Notre Dame responds this year to a loss to Ohio State. What do y'all think? Exactly, Hank. Oh, Cokehead Michael. You're going to get on there and call somebody out. Oh, you should. The Cinderella story, KeyShawn Johnson. The Cinderella story is not over. It's not. It's really not. Yeah, it is. It really is, KeyShawn. I mean, granted, because, there's some weak-ass teams in the Pac-12 this year. Stanford and Arizona State. You wouldn't know about USC's defense, but Arizona State's not a very good team. So, Con Time may luck out and win 2 more games. You may end up 5-7 on the year, in my opinion. But maybe not. I might lose out. Then what are they going to say? J.D. Wilmot says, I'm surprised the so-called activist isn't calling Dan Lanning racist because he oppressed Con Time. He pressed the foot all up his ass. Yeah? Yeah? Pretty bad when you get your ass whooped by a duck, right? Duck seems like one of the most docile creatures of all time, man. So when you get beat by a duck, man, it's just like, I don't know, sort of feel like crap. Perfect Crackers in the house. You sure like to call people ladies like knowing shit about them. You can't talk. Don't know, Hank. Perfect Cracker. Did Hank call somebody a racist? I think the racist is probably the Con Time groupies. They keep playing that card. They keep pointing out that I'm white. So to me, that means, maybe they're racist. Notre Dame should have won. Prevent defense was a bad way to end the game, says Stacey Siegel. I completely agree. Y'all, somebody tag Lavar or Laver or whatever his name is, Lavatar or whatever. Y'all peg him up in here. If y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat, hit the like button, and if you want to, share it out to a few friends. If you hit and smash that like button, that's completely free. It pushes the algorithm for me. Also, there's a little $ at the bottom of this. If you want to get your comment pushed directly to the top where I can read it more readily and quickly, all you gotta do is hit that little $ at the bottom of this video, write your comment out, and then send it on, and those donations will help the program as well. So it'll also highlight it for you according to how many characters you decide to purchase. See, next thing I want to talk about besides USC falling. By the way, USC failed 3 spots in the poll, and I always give the AP poll about kissing up to a lot of the liberals. But it seems like they were pretty fair this week. They dropped USC a good 3 spots for struggling against Arizona State. Linky Boys' defense is just not going to cut it, man. And they think I'm trolling them, but I'm not. I'm just trying to save them the time and the angst and the traumatization that's coming, because they won't lose this game this week. They will probably beat up on Con Time Deion. They probably won't shut him down. Sakazulu, is that his name? His son, Sakazulu Sanders, because he got sacked like 7 times this week, right? Oh, Sakazulu Sanders won't have to worry about getting sacked this week, probably. they'll probably get the obligatory 28 points on the USC defense, maybe even 35. But the thing is, USC more than likely will score 70 points on that pathetic Colorado defense that almost got beat by a G5 Colorado State team that barely beat Middle Tennessee State this past week. So, yeah. But after this game against USC, Osakazulu Sanders will continue his plummeting down the Heisman push, I do believe. What do y'all think? Killer Breeze in the house. He has his badge. As you can see, he's an outlaw posse. The only thing KeyShawn said this morning that makes sense was that USC played like hot garbage this weekend. Well, I mean, I saw that. I heard that, Killer Breeze. But here's the thing, man. Ain't USC, ain't that his alma mater? So that tells you how badly these people have this affinity and this weirdly perverted affection for content, man. Like I've said numerous times ad nauseum, I would definitely think that some of these people have a poster on their ceiling over their bed doing pretty perverted things in the midnight hour, if you ask me, when it comes to Dion, old Deion Sanders. Mr. Power Ranger, Optimus Primus, Transformer jackass name. I want to be called Coach. Okay, we'll call you Coach Sanders. No, we'll be called Coach Prime. I want to name myself after a Transformer cartoon character. Kenneth Qualls is in the house. I'm late to the party, but how about the Oklahoma defense? Yeah, I was just about to get to that. A lot of Oklahoma fans have really been hardcore criticizing the hell out of Jeff Lebby and the offense at Oklahoma. First it was the SMU game. Now it's the this past week's game. But I will say this, that they were on the road against Cincinnati, who was playing their first ever Big 12 game. So there was a lot of motivation and emotion going on with Cincinnati before that game. And Oklahoma weathered the storm. In the past, to me, Oklahoma's defense last year would have folded. If the offense only put up 20 points, Oklahoma would probably end up losing that game by a score or two. So if I'm Oklahoma fans, I try to look at the bright spot this week and the fact that you have been shutting down just about everybody. What's the highest anybody scored on y'all so far? 11 points? Tupac Shadir Sanders. Okay. That's a good nickname too, Rich Castle. I mean, what do y'all think? Y'all Oklahoma fans in here. And to Dylan Gable's defense, now he did throw for 300-something yards. It was just a little bit of a Cincinnati game where they were trying to sort of slow things down a little bit so they could maybe at least make it look reasonable in their first Big 12 game, I do believe. Now, before I move on here, I want to go ahead and give a Four Horsemen shout out like I always do. For those that are in the Outlaw Posse that have their badges in here, as you can see, the Four Horsemen shout outs of the week this week go to Dennison, T7 Rick 13, Dale Cent, and Corrections 101 are the Four Horsemen shout outs of the week, or the day, excuse me. If you want to get a Four Horsemen random shout out, like I said, there's that badge there. It's not $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. You get your badge, you get deputized. Get your Four Horsemen shout out and maybe be the comment of the day on the next podcast. And my hat just fell. That was pretty cool, huh? Ain't thinking happened live, right? I think that's my fishing cap. I like that. It says, my big mouth. I've been accused of having a big mouth. Imagine that. Man, I had another hat fall. I missed another hat up there, ain't I? What am I missing? Missing something up there. Huh. Oh, well. I guess we'll have to go without it. Rich Castle says offense looked good play-wise. Execution failed a few times, but Lebby can't throw and catch the ball too. That is true. You can only teach them so much before they have to get out there and actually do it themselves, correct? Now, Ryan Day. Let's talk about Ryan Day for a second. Seems like old Ryan Day Eric Blomquist in the house with a big, huge $50 donation. Dion is a cash machine for wherever he goes. I love his ability to bring fire to dead programs. By the way, I'm an OU fan. Well, congratulations on being a fan of the soon-to-be rising power, in my opinion, those Sooners from Norman, Oklahoma. And that's a great donation, Eric. I appreciate the hell out of that, brother. I'll have to give you another shout-out on the next podcast as well. That's a huge donation coming from Eric. While I may not agree with what Eric's saying, I agree with it partly. I'm not in love with his ability to bring fire to anything, because what he does, in my opinion, Eric, is he basically cons people up and lures them into believing something that he don't really believe himself. At Jackson State, for example, he was telling everybody, and that's why a lot of them players came there. A lot of those players that were 4- and 5-star athletes that never consider going to an HBCU school, which is more like a Division III school, because they don't even play Division I AA or FCS playoffs. He basically lured them over there with promises that one day he was going to uplift Jackson State, not just Jackson State. He was going to uplift the entire HBCU to like a Division I status. And then the first big opportunity he got, probably one of the worst college jobs in America, Division I, he bolts. And that's why I got a problem with him. Not only that, but back in the day, even further back than that, when he was playing for the Atlanta Braves, he poured a substance on top of Tim McCarver's head because Tim McCarver basically criticized him for playing 2 sports in the same season, and maybe suggested that Dion concentrate on one sport and be fair to that sport that he was in. And he poured shit on his head. He's a narcissistic bully to me, and that's why I don't like him, if that answers your question. Mark Clark also in the house with a big $4.99 donation. I don't see a comment with that, Mark Clark, but if you want to, just throw a comment down here in the comment section somewhere, and I'll try to catch it for you. All you got to do is write the comment out and then hit send. That way you get your money's worth, brother. Yeah, man, my OU hat done fell down. Y'all want me to go get it? Hold on for a second. That damn OU hat done fell down. Yeah, damn, must be a damn earthquake up in this bitch. There's 2 hats that done fell down. Shit. Stay. Maybe I tried to stay like a dog in the stay. I don't know. Good catch, Michelle. Good catch. Michelle is our resident horror movie critic. On a good horror movie, just ask Michelle, as I saw in the comments before the show. If y'all want to get your comment highlighted like Mark Clark did and Eric Blomquist, all you got to do is just hit that little money $sign at the bottom of this video. Write your comment out, then send it on. It will highlight it. It will push it to the top like it did Eric and Mark. And I will read it out as soon as I see it. It will go up above all the other comments. Also, if you don't mind, jump out the chat and hit the like button. It helps push the algorithm. Also, share it out to your friends if you don't mind. And get them to subscribe. And if you hadn't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so it'll notify you when I'm up and on. All those things are free. So it's all free fun. So why not do it? So you can be a part of it. Yeah, my bad, Rich. I sort of shit the bed myself tonight, didn't I? First it was, well, you know that fishing hat hadn't fell, I would have never known. So y'all can thank the fishing hat for that. Matt Bingham says SMU had a lot to prove going into the ACC Power 5 conference. Cincinnati's first Big 12 game and has a lot to prove being in the Power 5. It is true. It's sort of ironic how that worked out against Oklahoma. SMU, first game being officially invited back to the big leagues, plays Oklahoma. Cincinnati's first game in the big leagues, they play Oklahoma. So, maybe people want to make sure they play a well-known blue blood team like Oklahoma when they first, get in the big leagues. That should be a compliment, right? I would think so. Now, yeah, I see you, Rich. Yeah, we did. Alabama did give Cincinnati a lesson about what it was like to be in the big leagues. We actually held off in that game. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not just saying that because they're my team, but it was 28-6, but it could have been a lot worse. We didn't even try to pass the ball hardly. I think Nick Saban had an affinity for the head coach at Cincinnati at the time. Maybe it was Luke Fickell. I think him and Luke Fickell like each other or something. Or they're holding hands and singing Kumbaya or something. I don't know. Michael Jackson in the house. Tebow pisses me off. He recruited and laid down on us for USC. Glad he's gone. Boomer Sooner. All right. Now, let's get to Ryan Day for a second. We'll talk about Ryan Day. Oh, Ryan Day, man, and his Sharpie colored beard, man. It looks like someone colored that damn beard with a Sharpie. I ain't never seen nobody with a beard that black, man. Ever. Not even a minority beard, man. But, damn, man. The first thing he does when he's being interviewed after a huge win over Notre Dame, what comes out of his mouth? He ain't talking about his own team. He eventually did. But he's talking about Lou Holtz, an 80-year-old man. He calls out an 80-year-old man, talking about how Ohio is Ohio versus the world. And like my buddy Jermaine said, that Christian Fam channel, by the way, that Christian Fam channel is a great podcast. It's a religious podcast. If you like that kind of thing, check that channel out. But as Jermaine pointed out, man, I ain't so tired of this victim card being played. Now you got being played by old Sharpie beard, old magic marker beard, Ryan Day. Oh, y'all don't. They said we were soft. Well, you know, maybe Notre Dame's soft too. Maybe y'all both soft, Ryan. How you like that? You gonna call me out next? Oh my goodness, man! Seriously, Ohio against the world? Is that what you said? Come on, man. Ohio State has been a blue blood for quite some time, man. There ain't nobody feeling sorry for y'all, man. Ohio versus the world. By the way, y'all's name is not Ohio. Y'all might say that y'all are the Ohio State University, but the Ohio State University is not Ohio. That's the Bobcats, Ryan. Golly, man, what a crybaby. Did you all see him spazzing out? Seriously, I thought he was going to swallow his damn tongue or something, man. Like his eyes try to roll back in his head or something. Damn neck's going to turn around like the Exorcist or some shit. If y'all want to get your comment highlighted and pushed to the top where I can read it out for you, there's a lot of comments coming in strong and fast here tonight. I'm not able to get to them all. Just hit the money dollar sign at the bottom and put your comment in and then send it on so you get your money's worth. Make sure you put that comment in there first. Rick Birdwell says, hope Bama makes a huge withdrawal at the ATM. I'm with you on that. I hope they do too. Thank you, Brian, for that shout out on the smash the like button there. Also, Brian Ellis says, good evening and night, Jesse and chat. Have to turn in early and rise early. Well, I hate to hear that, brother, but we all got to pay the bills, right? We all got to pay those bills. Lou is a bitch for ripping off Play Like a Champion, but damn, he's in his 80s. Yeah, he is a bit of a ripoff. I don't like Lou Holtz either. I mean, I don't really like his commentary whatsoever. But my point is, why is that the first thing on your mind? After a huge win over Notre Dame, you probably shouldn't have won that game. Had they not been playing prevent defense and not trying to get a first down and playing it safe, Notre Dame should have won that game. And you worried about Lou Holtz? Really? Last time he was at Notre Dame was 1988. Last time Notre Dame won the national championship was 1988. Man, it's something, Ryan. Have you won a national championship yet? Nah, you ain't. And you waiting for Urban Liar to come back. Maybe Urban Liar will come back and give you some secrets on how to win a national title at Ohio State. I don't know. Or he might fake a heart attack or something. You know, he's like Fred Sanford. Every time you turn around, the man's faking a health issue. Surprised he's not, Urban Meyer, man. If anybody rehires Urban Meyer, y'all get what you deserve, man. Y'all's program will go straight in the shitter. No lie. Did y'all see the AP poll today? The AP poll came out. It looks like it's about the same, so I'm not going to go through it. Alabama looks like they might have moved up one spot. Did Oklahoma move up? Just curious. I can't remember. Y'all drop it in the comment section. Tell me where Oklahoma's ranked this week in the AP poll. Coyotes in the house. Prime comment. I don't care about the game. I just want to see Tebow and Prime go out to the 50 and have a narcissism contest. Yeah, man, I just don't know who to root for. At first I was telling everybody, you know what? I'm going to root for the Skittle Shitters. It's been one time you see me root for the Skittle Shitters. Now I got to think about it. I'm like, man, I just don't know if I can do it, man. I just don't know if I can do it. Eric Mofield's in the house. It's me again, Margaret. Speaking of Eric Mofield, I'm going to give y'all his card later. I got his information right here. Eric made one of these for me. It's a cutting board. Real nice cutting board. You can see right here. No lasers, handcrafted. No lasers ever. Great cutting board that Eric sent me. He's one of our great sponsors of the show. And if you want to reach Eric, I got his information right here. Mo's Woodsmith Shop. Eric Mofield is, you can call him at 903-495-1100. That's 903-495-1100 and get your cutting board. You can put anything on a piece of wood, even Jennifer Lopez's ass if you want to. He can also be reached at Mofield, that's spelled M-O without the E, Mofield, Mofield, 806 at gmail.com. Get you one of those boards, man. They're awesome. J.D. Wilmoth says, do you think when Oklahoma and Texas makes the move to the Southeastern Conference, they will leave the Oklahoma-Texas game at 11 a.m. or move it to prime time where it belongs? Well, that's totally probably up to Oklahoma and Texas. I'll be honest with you. Oklahoma and Texas have a lot of swagger. They have a lot of swing. When they come to the SEC, and I told a lot of SEC people, they won't want to believe it, but I'm telling you, and it's evident by this year already that Texas and Oklahoma aren't coming here to be Texas A&M and Missouri, or even further back, South Carolina and Arkansas. They're coming here to win the conference, both of them. So, like I said, if you keep adding I can't even talk now. I need a shot of tequila. If you keep adding Power 5 teams that are traditional blue bloods, someone's got to lose. And it might not be the team you think. It might be your team losing, like my team, Alabama, lost. So my thing is, the next time we expand, if I'm the SEC, I would go out and try to expand my portfolio a bit and add some basketball schools. That way, you don't have all these football powerhouses in one conference, because someone's going to have losing their luster. Ask Arkansas. Arkansas back in the day in the 80s, they were a regular Southwest Conference championship contending team. They joined the SEC, and they haven't won an SEC title, not one time. Dakota Green is now a member for 3 months. Awesome. Dakota Green has his badge and he's deputized, and now he's joined up with a 3-month subscription. Appreciate that, Dakota. If you want to get your badge and get deputized like Dakota here, all you got to do is hit that join button and subscribe button. Join Outlaw Posse, get your badge, get deputized. It's not $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. And you also might be the comment of the day on the next podcast that I do. Dakota Green says, will Big 12 call PI for Oklahoma this year? I don't know. Someone told me that they only called 2 penalties all game long against the Cincinnati Bearcats. It's hard for me to think that Cincinnati would only commit 1 or 2 penalties, considering they lost to Miami of Ohio and probably committed more penalties against Miami of Ohio in their loss to Miami of Ohio. So I'm still really concerned about how Oklahoma and Texas is going to fare within the conference. Although Texas did beat the shit out of Baylor this past week, I told everybody David Randall was overrated. He had that one good year at Baylor, man, and everybody was on his bandwagon. It's just like the dude at Iowa State. His window of opportunity has passed. Everybody sees now that he's not all that and a cup of tea. Rick Birdwell says, I doubt the Red River rivalry game or Red River shootout. I know they made y'all change the name of it. Game time will change with all these shootings at state fairs. Yeah, you're probably right about that, brother. Bryce Lane does not think they will move it. They will keep it as a morning game for safety reasons. They don't want it getting too rowdy. Well, I don't necessarily think they should move it tonight, but I think 2:30 would be a much better time slot for that game, man. You get to tailgate all day, and early in the morning, get your tailgating in, watch the game, then stay over a little bit afterwards in Dallas. I think 2:30 works out great for that game, especially since that game's played later in the year. You ain't got to worry about the heat as much, right? What do y'all think? Adam Hurley in the house. Colorado only ran the ball twice in the first half, allowing Oregon to blitz all the time. Colorado lost because of themselves, not because of Oregon. Well, who did the blitz? Who done the blitz? Who called the blitz? Oregon. So, I mean, if it was a closer game, you might be able to say it wasn't Oregon, but it wasn't even close, man. It was 42-6. It'd be different if it was, 21-6. But 42-6, that's definitely a talent gap. Now, Dion Sanders will tell everybody it's not a talent gap, but it's 150% a talent gap, Dion. You can't just bring a bunch of players from Jackson State. Travis Hunter is the only exception because he was a 5-star athlete that you lured to Jackson State with a bunch of lies, and then he followed you to Colorado State too, and you got him hurt, playing him too much. I don't care how good he is. I've seen it in the past where they have gimmicky plays on both sides of the ball for a player, maybe 7 or 8 plays a game on the other side. But he had this dude playing 60, 70 snaps a game, man. You just knew he was going to get injured. But Dion don't care about that, see? All Dion cares about is disrespecting the coaching profession and wearing his little Power Ranger sunglasses and having his ass on his shoulders about at least 95% of the time. But is that right? Daniel Looney says, if you want tickets, just go to the Dallas jail the morning of the Red River shootout. People need bail money. Got tickets that way twice. Well, damn. If y'all want to get your comment pushed to the top more readily so I can read it, because I can't read all these comments. All you got to do is hit that $ at the bottom. It'll highlight it. And however many characters you purchase and whatnot, I guess that's according to how much they charge you. But it will highlight the comment. Make sure you type the comment out, then send it so you get your money's worth. But that's how you get your comment highlighted and push the top so I can read it out above the others. Also, hit the like button, jump out of the chat, hit the like button, and even share it out to your friends if you don't mind. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, as well as the bell so it'll notify you. I don't know why they make you hit a subscribe and a bell. Why can't it just be one? Why can't you just hit the subscribe button and be notified? But YouTube, they do things a little tweaked. Hank says he thought the Sean Lewis offense would put up more points Saturday. Yeah, I sort of thought they would too, to be honest with you. I figured they'd put up about 21, but maybe 24. But I figured Oregon would be able to hold them down a little bit. Preston Green in the house, he has his badge as well. Tell me you don't know football without telling me. Colorado didn't lose. Oregon beat the hell out of them. They blitzed because CU can't run the ball and can barely pass block. Exactly. I agree with that, Preston. How can you say Oregon didn't beat them when Oregon's one calling the plays? Colorado's proving. They proved it against Colorado State. That should have been a red flag for y'all. Y'all should have got out of the calm time group that you was in right then and there, in my opinion. And then when y'all ever want to be on here live with me, just holler at me and I'll send you an invite. And you can be on live with me on the show if you would like. J.D. Wilmoth agrees with me that 2:30 would be an excellent time. I hate those 11 a.m. kickoffs. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that because you can't really enjoy yourself. And you have to get up way too early, have to walk to the game, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just a big nuisance to me to play any game before 2:30. Is that what Jack Ruby was doing in jail looking for tickets? Might have been. He's covering up that conspiracy. A lot of people don't think that Lee Harvey was the only shooter, right? Chicken 15's in the house with his badge. It says Boomer Sooner. Roll Tide, Boomer Sooner. Sooner Ross says Oregon had a full team of grown-ass men that ran over Colorado. Yeah. Right, they're all grown men. That's another thing I don't like, man. Is people say, man, how you going to come in here and criticize a kid? Okay, I mean, are we watching Little League football? Are we watching Pee Wee football at the corner of Maple Street? This is college football, man. These guys are adults. They absolutely need to learn how to take criticism. Okay? If you're 18 years old and you're old enough to vote for the president of the United States and serve in a war and kill somebody, you're not a kid. You're a young man. And young men need to learn how to cope with criticism. So y'all quit all that kid shit, man. I don't like that at all. That's just enabling. When they see you call them a kid, they're like, oh, they think we're still a kid, man. We can just get away with all sorts of shit. We can beat up women and rape people and all sorts of stuff. You know, sort of like Baylor. It's like, I ain't going to say it. I started to say something. I ain't going to say it. Jeremy Faust in the house. I'm concerned about Jeff Lebby's offense. Seems like at times it gets predictable. Other times does great. Yeah, it's just everybody's getting used to everybody, man. It's just the second year. Actually, it's not even a full 2 seasons. And it's a year and 3 or 4 games. So I think they'll have it together when they play Texas. At least I hope they do. Whether they beat Texas or not, that's another thing. I don't know if they can beat Texas, to be honest with you. I think they keep it close. If they can keep Texas under 28 points, I think Oklahoma can win that game. They can hold them to just 3 or 4 scores. Oklahoma can win that game. But if they get into the 30s, Texas is probably going to win. I don't know, Killer Breeze. Thought you wanted to be on the show with me, Killer Breeze. A.K.A. George Contupis. He says, where are all the skill shitters? Man, you know where they at, man. Come on now. Think about it. Where did I tell y'all they go after football practice? After they play Saturday, and I think they might go there Sunday as well. But I'll let you tell us, Killer Breeze, if you want to. Where are the skill shitters? Where have they gone? Where have they disappeared unto thee? Tell us. Preach to us, brother. Give us the sermon, Killer Breeze. Come on, brother. Tailgating full of hospitality fans offering good food and drinks. Just a great time. Sounds like my kind of party. Yes, Outlaw picked up on that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm not as dumb as some people think I am. I might have a southern accent, and it's like the old movie Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon in it. The guy that played her husband, I can't remember his name, but he told her, honey, just because I talk slow don't mean I'm stupid. Just formulate our sentences correctly. Thank you very much. Just staying the truth, guys. Colorado and the guys. Colorado first half is 25-0 win in the second half, 7-6. Well, Adam, that's what you call calling the dogs off. You see, because Oregon started playing a lot of backup players, and as much as Dan Lanning wanted to embarrass the hell out of the disrespectful one that we call con time Dion Sanders, he didn't. If I was Dan, if it was me coaching, I don't know about y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all would do. What would have been your stopping point as far as beating Dion and his team? To me, I would have probably at least put a 50 spot on. I would have been about 56-6. But Dan backed off, Adam. That 7-6 score you're talking about, if Dan had felt threatened, I can promise you this. If they had put up that touchdown in the third quarter, Dan would have probably put 50 on him, in my opinion. What do y'all think? Y'all think that Dan backed off in the second half? I think he did. Bryce Wayne with a trivia answer. That's right. I'd like to give Bryce Wayne a special treat for that. That is the correct answer. That is where the Skittle Shitters are at tonight, Bryce. They are at the transgender volleyball tournaments in Santa Barbara, California, most likely. Yoga with Benny and Wiley. Yeah, now that is possible. They could be yoga night for Grinch the Stench. So we got here. Rich Castle also chimed in, but was a little late. At the transgender volleyball tournaments, indeed. Killer Breeze also knows the answer. Y'all know y'all shit, man. Y'all know y'all are educated about the shadiness that is the Skittle Shitters in Los Angeles, you know? I mean, shitting in the streets, hanging out at a trashy beach with all the transgenders day by day, night by night. Darth Ducks in the house. Glad to have you up in here, Darth Ducks. Colorado had 23 yards in the first half. Darth is making my point exactly. They backed off. Well, they played them tough. It's 7-6 in the second half, but they backed off. My question is, had Colorado scored in the third quarter, would they have put 50 on? I think they would have. I don't understand why people want to take up for con time, man. Hey, y'all not watched his interviews and stuff, man? He's completely disrespectful and does not care about anything but attention. And people are giving it to him because that's the way they are these days. That's the way the liberal spastics roll, man. That's what they want. They want that immoral, disrespectful attitude. That's what they like. That's what they push. But Darth Duck, we was talking earlier about Dan Lanning and the fact that Michael Irvin and KeyShawn Johnson both sort of called him out on Skip Bayless's little pretty crappy show. And I tried not to watch it, but I had to because I wanted to see what they had to say about Dan Lanning. But they was basically saying that Dan called Dion out for clicks, and actually he was doing what he was doing for clicks. And that Dan was doing it to try to get a foot up on Dion in recruiting. Dan's already got a foot up in recruiting. All Dion is transfer portal. That's all he is, really. Eric Blomquist with a big $20 donation. I would have kept shoving it down their throats. Talk loud, lose loud. They were losing loud. And like I said, KeyShawn wasn't there crying, man. He was like, man, I took Colorado because it was in my heart, man. Or it was Dion. I just couldn't do it. You don't need to be betting on no games, man. Because when you bet on a game, you need to take the team that you think is going to win, dumbass. KeyShawn and Michael, they ride along that crowd, man. They're the same kind of person, man. They're loud, flamboyant, and they don't care who they disrespect as long as they get their attention. As long as they get that attention whore fulfilled, they want to get their attention whoreism filled up really good. I mean, because if they don't get their attention, man, they just start playing all sorts of crazy-ass cards on people. Well, Dan Lanning said we're not done yet. They weren't done yet. They needed to finish the game. There was a second half to play. So I know you took that literal, but I don't think he meant literally like you're trying to say, in my opinion. I mean, you may be right, but I don't think so. I think that he just let up the gas a little bit and tried to get some playing time for everybody. They still lost. Loud Colorado players were gone for cheap shots of Oregon kept their starters in. That is a very good point, Darth. I really think you could be on something there because I thought Dan was going to put about 70 on him, to be honest with you. And they could have. You love Skip, huh? I don't know. I'm not really sold on Skip, man, to be honest with you. He's sort of iffy to me. I don't really watch him a lot, so I don't really know. Dan playing chess, Prime was playing Tinder. Think on that. Yeah, he's playing Tinder all right. His ass was Tinder after the game. I thought he was going to start crying. Why is he wearing glasses, man, during the press conference when no other coach wears them? Why? Y'all answer me that, man. All the Contime groupies out there, I want to know why he wears them glasses, man. I don't see any other coach wearing it, and don't try to play that card that someone played earlier about being black culture, because it's not. I know plenty of black head coaches, Marcus Freeman, Dennis Green back in the day, the Colorado State coach, Charlie Strong back in the day. I don't see any of those minority coaches wearing those Power Ranger glasses trying to look like a Transformer cartoon character. There's your boy, Killer Breeze. Your boy's here, Killer Breeze. LeVar Crawford's in the house. When you gonna get your badge, LeVar? I know you don't always agree with me. Hell, you don't ever agree with me. But I think you agree with me once or twice. But you need your badge, man. You need to be an outlaw posse, man. Quit being like that, man. What you being, man? You being prejudiced against Cowboys and posse members, man? Come on now. You got to get your badge, LeVar, so I can start making you the comment of the day. I can deputize you, brother. Dan Lanning calling out Prime because he knows he got the better team, but he won't have an ESPN speech from my Trojans because he knows that defense is holding us 6 points. You don't think so? May not. You're probably right. But if USC keeps scoring, so will Oregon. That's the point I'm making here, LeVar. Your defense give up 28 points to an Arizona State team that got shut out by Fresno State. Fresno State didn't just beat them by 29. They beat them by 29 with a shutout. Shutout. And y'all give up 28 points to them, man. How many points you think Oregon and Bo Nix going to put up? If San Jose Fingernail Painting Academy can put up 28, and then you turn around and you get 28 points put on you by Arizona State, probably one of the biggest online universities in the world, by the way. No random thought of the day. That's 56 points to pretty crappy offenses, man. How many points do you think Oregon's going to put up, brother? How many? If y'all keep scoring, it's going to be like the Colorado game. Colorado scored a touchdown. So did Dan. Dan tried to back off and be nice. USC keeps scoring, Oregon keeps scoring. The game might end up 56-28, man. Oregon. If y'all want to get your comment pushed to the top, like Eric Blomquist did, all you got to do is hit that money dollar sign at the bottom, type your comment out and send it, and it'll push it to the top, and I can get to your comment first before everybody else's. Also, you'll see people in here with badges. That's the Outlaw Posse membership. If you want to get your badge and get deputized, it's $2.99 a month. That's not 75 cents a week. It's a little join button next to the subscribe button. If you're on a Apple phone, you may have to go to your laptop or your computer to join. You'll get your badge, you'll get deputized, and you may be the comment of the day as well as get a 4 Horsemen shout out on a chosen podcast. Darth says Oregon will probably score 50 on USC. Killer Breeze says Laver is going to get a matching belly button tattoo. Some people were getting on me earlier, Killer Breeze, about me calling, what's that guy's name? Justine Marshmallow. What's his last name again? You know, the Marshmallow. They said I need to get off of Justin, man, or whatever his name is. Jason. That's it. Jason, whatever Jason's last name is, runs a little podcast called the HOF Jackasses over there. He been stroking off to Dion for quite some time, man, so I couldn't resist. And he also slandered me by calling me a racist just because I said con time was con time. Jason Waddle, what? Jason, I can't remember, man. He's just not that important, I guess. I don't know, Matt. Why does Lincoln Riley keep putting his mouth on the Sooners? Ask LeVar. LeVar says you got some suspect dudes in your chat. Well, I'm glad that you know that because I wouldn't know. But, you know, the fact that you are a skill shitter and that, you know, y'all get into that transgender stuff out there, you would be the one to know. So I appreciate you trying to give me a heads up on that. Yeah, that's it. Damn, wish you hadn't remembered either. JD Wilmoff says a lot of those people on here just like Skip because he's from Oklahoma and they're Oklahoma fans. I can't stand Skip Bayless. Yeah, you know, a lot of people like that here in my Alabama fan base are like, if you're an Alabama fan or someone's an Alabama fan, you need to agree with them all the time. That's not going to happen. Football loyalty does not supersede doing what's right and human decency. So if Nick Saban says something that's stupid to me, then I'm going to call him out about it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Darth Duck says Dion spent the whole game with his arms crossed. None of his players or coaches would even talk to him. Well, I think he had to readjust his son's necklace about 7 times, Darth. Because from what I understand, Sakazulu Sanders got sacked 7 times. And as you know, he readjusts his gold necklace for him on the sidelines after each and every sack, just like he did against Colorado State. You know, it'd be real interesting to see if, you know, like someone like Bob Stoops or Barry Switzer or Nick Saban would go to the trouble of adjusting someone's gold necklace for him on the sidelines. LeVar Crawford says it's mostly salty Oklahoma fans in his chat still mad because their daddy left him in the middle of the night. Well, I don't think it's that, man. I think it's the way he left. It was pretty shady, LeVar. You see, he was recruiting for USC through one of his staff members. I never can remember his name. Someone will drop it in here in just a second for you to educate you a little bit. And then he lured Caleb, you know, old married Caleb Williams' fingernails. They lured him into the transfer portal. They put on this facade like he was going to visit Wisconsin and all that bullshit. But we all know what happened. He lured a bunch of players in the transfer portal. Going in the transfer portal and getting players is not a big thing. What is a big thing is when you lure them over there. That's called tampering. It's hard to prove. But eventually they're going to put some rules in place like the NFL. And USC, who, by the way, has been on probation more than any other team in college football history, will probably get put on probation again if they keep tampering with players. Yeah, they said that I need to lay off of him. They said I was making his mangina hurt or something, man. He might have filled his diaper full. Y'all, if y'all are fans of Jason Watkins, y'all go check on that boy. He might have rashed up, man. Give him some Vaseline or something. We got the VIP up in here. Rhino 26, he's got his badge. He's also a VIP member along with Eric Blomquist and others. By the way, the VIP group consists of Rhino 26, Eric Blomquist, Marty King, Sisyphus, JWK, and David Kreitzer, because they've made a lot of huge donations to the program. Lolly left for USC in October, but was still coaching the Sooners. Exactly. That's the problem. LeVar, you are correct, but after visiting your daddy on Skid Row, I understand your negative attitude. If you need a hug, nah. F you. LeVar, I don't think they like you, man. Don't ask me that. Ask me, Miss LeVar, exactly where are you from, man? Are you living in California? If you are, I feel sorry for you. That state's going to hell, man. Y'all need to get the hell out of that state, man. That governor you got, man, he's a piece of shit. And he's basically just deep sixed your economy out there. It's awful. Rich Castle says that Brent Venables may not win a natty, but Linky Boy won't either. Linky Boy's got a new name. Do y'all remember what it is? It's another trivia question. Let's see who can answer it. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. A little Jeopardy music for y'all. What's Lincoln Riley's new negative nickname? Can y'all tell me? There we go with the dumbass comments. But to respond to that, LeVar, I've sort of tried to educate y'all on this but numerous times, but y'all don't have the capacity, it seems, to soak in stuff when people try to explain something to you. You're incoherent. That's what they call it. Your incoherency is hard to deal with sometimes, brother. When Alabama and Oklahoma people go to school here, they play here, they go to school here, they graduate from here, where do you think they go, man? Where do you think they go? They don't stay in Norman, they don't stay in Tuscaloosa. They go to places like Boston, Miami, hell, even overseas to Australia and bigger cities like Houston, Texas. They're spread out all over. And they come back for the football games. Our football games are not filled in stadiums by Norman natives and Tuscaloosa natives. They're filled by people from around the world. And y'all got a city right there in your backyard that has millions of people, and you still can't sell out your games. And y'all got alumni nationwide and worldwide too, but they don't make the trek because they're not good fans, man. That's just the bottom line. Now, you might be a good fan. You might be the loyalist skittle shitter that I know. But the rest of them, they're not, man. If they're not winning 11, 12 games in the regular season, they're not showing up, man. They stopped showing up after Chief Pete left. They're just not showing up, man. They can't fill it up. They claim you got all this other stuff to do. Like I said ad nauseum, I mean, hanging out at Trashy Beach with transgender volleyball tournaments. I mean, if that's what you want to do in your spare time, that's fine. But why can't y'all fill that stadium up, man? Why? Elizabeth Warren is from Oklahoma as well. I can't stand her. She's an embarrassment to the state, but of course she doesn't claim Oklahoma, and we don't claim her. Didn't Elizabeth Warren, is she the one that claimed that she was an Indian? Yeah. She's a liar. A big old liar. Once again, these comments are coming strong and fast. If y'all want to get your comment highlighted and push the top where I can read it out for everybody to see, because I'm not going to be able to click on but randomly in here right now. Just click on that money dollar sign at the bottom, write your comment in there, and then send it. Make sure you write that comment first and then send it so you get your money's worth. Also, jump out of the chat for me. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell as well. That way you'll get notified. And share me out to your friends. Let's get this party crunk. Because at the end of the season, man, I'm going to try to have some kind of multi-tailgate party somewhere. We need to go to one of these bowl games that's not very expensive. All of us just hook up and take over. Like, we could all meet in Shreveport. I know Shreveport's not a great city, But they got some gambling casinos there, and we could all go to the Independence Bowl regardless of the teams and just take over. What do y'all think about that? Well, now y'all talking about some gay stuff. Y'all need to quit that. Y'all don't need to let LeVar get you in your panties too much now. Stink ass cat with a big $20 donation. That's right, another big donation coming up in here. Stink ass cat with a big $20 donation says Boomer Sooner. Appreciate the hell out of that, Stink ass cat. If you want to add another comment with a little bit longer length, I can sure enough read that out for you too as well, brother. Appreciate the hell out of that, man. You guys are just awesome. Eric Mofield says he's down for that. We're all going to get Independence Bowl tickets, and we're all going to meet. Have us a few shots of tequila, go down to casinos, and then watch whoever's playing, whether it be Army versus the Citadel. We'll pick a team, man. We'll pick. We could go one of them real small-time bowls with some of the unknown teams, like Central Michigan versus Georgia Southern or something in the Mobile, Alabama Bowl. And we go to the beach then. Go down there and go to Gulf Shores and go to the Floribama down there. It might be too cold to swim, but we can sure as hell get drunk on the beach. Or not get drunk on the beach. I mean, I might not get drunk, but I'll at least drink some of y'all. J.D. Wilmot says, LeVar, you got all along. I'm not mad he left us. Actually, it was a blessing. We would have been in trouble going into the Southeastern Conference with him and no defense Grinch. He's going to let go of Grinch, man. LeVar, I know you're in here talking smack, but smack talk aside, brother, you're going to have to admit, man, Grinch ain't looking too good, man. Y'all need to come around to the fact that y'all going to have to at least have a decent defense. I'm not saying a shutdown defense. Y'all going to have to have a defense that can hold people to less than 20 points a game. Sometimes. It's okay if you give up a few points every now and then. But every single game, if you're allowing people to score over 20, 30 points, eventually you're going to lose, man, just like you did against Tulane. Could cook a hog. Yes, we could, Michael. We could cook a hog. Yes, I like tequila. See, I'm diabetic. My doctor told me if I was going to drink, that he would prefer that I not drink at all. But if I was going to drink silver tequila because the plant that it's made out of actually has benefits for diabetics. So that's why you hear me talk about tequila all the time. Stink ass cats, I'm sick of whiny OU fans crying about every little thing, thinking they need to critique every game. I love my Sooners. I love his staff. Says stink ass cat, who, by the way, just give us a big $20 donation. Now, let's go back to the whole Ryan Day situation for a second. And I'll let y'all push the conversation. I'm struggling as to why he done that. And why do y'all think that he called out? Why do y'all think he done that? Why would he call out an 80-year-old Lou Holtz? Now, of course, Lou Holtz did run his mouth, so I guess he had a right to respond. But it just seemed odd that the first thing out of Ryan Day's mouth was something about Lou Holtz after a huge win over Notre Dame. I just don't get it. We're not soft. Ohio against the world kind of crap. Really? Ohio against the world? Ohio State's never been against the world, man. They've had a lot of benefits go their way. A lot of stuff looked the other way, like Tapgate back in the day when their coach had to step down for that shit. I can't remember his name. He used to wear the bow tie all the time. But he had to step down because of Tapgate. Stink ass cat with another big $20 donation. And yeah, I just read that comment out, brother. But I appreciate the hell out of another big $20 donation, man. You guys keep me motivated and y'all keep me moving along, man. And people wonder why, I do a lot of Oklahoma stuff. I actually had one of your Oklahoma fans call me out and say that, you know, I need to stick with my team and quit talking about Oklahoma, that y'all didn't need my help. I'm like, well, I didn't ask you if you need my help. I'm just rewarding people that reward me. That's just the way it works. Daniel Blitzer. Actually, it was Bitzer. He didn't have an L in there. I haven't seen Blitzy Boy around now. He got banned, man, because he saying some vulgar stuff that I couldn't have on here. Perfect Cracker says, Canadian County, come get some. I really hope that was your real info if some of your dumbass. What y'all talking about, man? Y'all quit trying to fight each other, man. Y'all are Sooners, man. Y'all supposed to try to get along. Rich Castle says, look at how Ohio State got back in the playoffs in 2020 after only playing half the schedule, OSU versus the world. My ass. Exactly. That's a great point. I'm glad you said it. I was trying to think of some stuff, and that's a great point. They only played, 8 regular season games or 7? And then they showed against Alabama because they put 52 on them. That whole thing with the Big Ten and the Pac-12, they shouldn't have been allowed to play. The Big 12, it was the Big 12 and the SEC stuck together and said, hey, look, you know, you and Kevin Warren, y'all done made it to where you can't play non-conference games. Y'all can control that because that's your conference playing against non-conference teams. But our conference, you can't control Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren was trying to make a play for a bigger stage. I think he wanted to be like the NCAA president or some shit. I'm glad his ass ain't at the Big Ten anymore. He is absolutely responsible, 150% for the demise of the Pac-12. The Pac-12, the Big Ten tried to say they didn't want blood on their hands. That's why they were not going to take Oregon and Washington at the time because they didn't want to have blood on their hands. You already got blood on your hands. You took USC and UCLA. Y'all started it, man. Y'all absolutely are responsible for the death of the Pac-12. Did the Big 12 help finish it off? Sure. But then y'all come in after you said you weren't going to take Oregon and Washington, you took them anyway. So Kevin Warren, man, he's a snake. Yeah, well, we all have that problem. David Kreitcher's in the house. David Kreitcher's one of our VIP members as well. I don't know if you was in there earlier, David, but I give you a shout out as far as your VIP status. David says, Coach Prime, there's no you in team, then he cleans house. There's no you in team. Really? Is that supposed to be a positive for him or a negative? What do you think, David? Tell me, brother. Just tell me you're not a Con-Time fan. Yeah, that is true, Cloud. Notre Dame is perfecting the dime defense. Oh, really? Really? Hank, brother. Thought, man, you were tight, man. You over there helping Jason lube up the stick there? You know, Jason Watkins, man, I mean, my boy Killer Breeze likes to call him Marshmallow because he's really soft when it comes to certain things. He likes to play the race card and race bait like he's black or something. He's not. Yeah, he basically slandered me, Hank. Called me a racist just because I called Con-Time because I don't like Dion Sanders. It automatically makes me a racist, according to the Marshmallow. Shreveport is a whatever, Red Cross, the bridge in the Bossier City, and that's totally different. Not really understanding. Are you saying that it's a bad area? I've been to the Independence Bowl a couple of times. It's not a very clean city, but as long as you don't wander off into the neighborhood, you'll be all right. Yes, exactly. I talked about that earlier. I don't understand it. I'm just like, seriously? You gonna call out an 80-year-old man right after a big win? I could understand if it was later on in the conversation, but it was the very first thing out of his mouth, David. The very first thing out of his mouth was talking about Lou Holtz, man. I mean, Lou Holtz must have really rattled his little pudding cage, man, because Sharpie beard, man, that's what I call it, man. I've never seen anybody with a beard that black, man, ever. That looks like some shit he bought at the damn Dollar General, man, like he's trying to be Captain Hook or some shit, or Johnny Depp on Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know, man. Rick Birdwell says Dabo is missing BV. Yes, he is. Now, the last year that Brent Venables was at Clemson would have lost about 4 or 5 games if it hadn't been for Brent Venables' defenses. That's when the demise started that year. It was just not as evident because Brent Venables was pulling them out of a lot of games with the defense. Now that Brent Venables is gone, the defense is not pulling them out anymore. Jack Acker's in the house. Outlaw, would you rather have the Skittle Shears having a losing season or winning all out in the national championship just to get to blown out on national TV and have their built-up joy getting crushed? Well, Jack, brother, I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's a hard question, man. I don't know. What do y'all think? Would y'all rather have them I think I'd rather them have a losing season, bro. Because the more they lose, the quicker that Lincoln Riley loses his job, and the quicker I can say I told you so. And he'll be playing for Killer Breeze's favorite team. If Killer Breeze is still in here, he can tell you. He'll be the punting coordinator very soon. Y'all know that one? It's another trivia question there. Got to spit that water out, man. Sorry, y'all had to see that. Got a little chug in there. Almost choked on it. You never know what you're going to get on live air, right? Hank. Where's Hank at, man? I don't even see him comment anymore. Said Hank has nothing. Mark Rogers says, I'm an hour late, but I'll be catching up. Yeah, we've talked about everything from the Skittle Shitters sliding, their defense giving up a shitload of points once again to very suspect competition, to Ryan Day losing his noodle on an 80-year-old man and wetting his diaper, to, once again, Dan Lanning getting called out by Michael Irvin, Mr. Cokehead, and KeyShawn, consider the source, 2 flamboyant loudmouths taking up for con time Dion Sanders, right? Surprise, surprise. Dan Lanning they're trying to say that Dan Lanning was doing the exact same thing that Dion was doing, and I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. Tim Gillespie says he's paying his fine for being late. Well, I appreciate that donation, brother. Big $10 donation. Tim Gillespie also has his badge as well. He's in the Outlaw Posse. I've talked about that ad nauseum. Y'all probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but you want your badge like Tim Gillespie, you want to get deputized, be in the Outlaw Posse. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. You get your badge, you'll be deputized and get a random 4 horseman shout out on each show, maybe. If you're one of the lucky 4 that get pulled out of the hat. Well, it's not really pulled out of the hat. I got a system so everybody gets a shout out. As well as be the comment of the day, possibly, on each and every show. Of my choosing, of course. Mark Vigil, USC is going to get their cheeks clapped, not just by Oregon, but UW and Utah too. Yeah, I agree, Jack. Get them, brother. Get them. Sick them. First Shadir, now Caleb Williams. Yeah, I got a new name for him. Did y'all hear my new name? Sakazulu. Instead of Shaka Zulu, I'm going to call him Saka Zulu because he got racked up 7 times in Dan Lanning's defense. Hank. I think the reason why Cracker's giving you such a hard time, Hank, is because me and Jason Watkins had a falling out, brother. He called me a racist for no reason, just because I made fun of his man crush, that being con time. And that's the reason why Perfect Cracker doesn't like him either, because he did the same thing to Perfect Cracker. He calls everybody a racist, plays the race card, and he's white when he doesn't get his way. And that's the problem we have with him. That's the problem we have with him, Hank. I love you, brother, but I know the guy made you a moderator over there. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't tolerate that kind of nonsense, to be honest with you. Go around saying shit about people like that. Alice Stokes is in the house, just joining in. I'm a little late. Hello from Centerland, says Alice. She has her badge. She's in the Stokes clan. The whole family supports me big time. Them and Aunt Nellie. How is Aunt Nellie tonight? She doing well? She recovered? Give us an update, Aunt Alice. And tell Heath, you better get his ass in here. I'm going to get my belt. You get your belt, Alice. Tell Heath get his ass in here. Rich Castle says Saka Zulu. Saka Zulu. That's right. Saka Zulu Sanders. Getting his little gold chain adjusted 7 times over. Whoa! Damn. That had to hurt. That had to hurt. Get your ass racked 7 times by some ducks, man. Ducks just come out there and teabag your ass. Alan Woody says, Dave was acting the fool. Will be funny when Michigan smacks them for a 3rd time in a row. Yeah, you're right. Dave needs to start worrying about Michigan, because if he's not careful, Michigan's going to mess around and win a national championship before him. And that's not going to be good for Ryan. Now, the Ohio Stank fans, to me, they'd be pretty stupid to get rid of Ryan Day, even though he's a big-ass crybaby this past week, just for losing a game to Michigan every year. I think it would be a bad move for them. But, I mean, just look, man. It's just like with Nebraska. When Tom Osborne left and they run off Frank Solich, they ain't been the same since. Hank called me a racist, not Jason. Okay. Well, why did Hank call you a racist? Why did he call you a racist? Was you taking up for Jason? Who's the Jason man crush in here? Is it you or Perfect Cracker? Just playing with y'all, man. Just playing with y'all. Y'all don't get mad now and unsubscribe to me like some of these liberal spastics do. Jonathan Lewis is in the house, the OG. I call him the podcasting sensei. College football with Jonathan Lewis. He's the one that set me up. We met on Twitter, and he basically educated me a little bit, and I've taken the training wheels off, and now I'm running full blast, thanks to Jonathan. Well, hell, man, I didn't know if you was available tonight, brother. I've been going for quite some time. I even put a notice out that I was starting at 7:30. I put a notice out about 12 noon today. But I'll make sure I invite you next time. We've been talking about just about everything, man. Let me run down it again for you, Jonathan. We started out with USC falling in the poll and basically looking horrible against an Arizona State team that got shut out 29-0. Their defense, once again, is going to end up costing USC a game. Eventually cost them 3 spots in the poll this week. Talked about Oklahoma's defense and Alabama's defense, both looking like they're coming around, and they're going to probably depend on those defenses going forward. Dan Lanning was sort of attacked by Michael Irvin and KeyShawn on Skip Bayless's shows. Basically, they were pissed off that he made his little speech about con time, trying to get clicks and not wins. And they basically said he was doing the same thing, and he was using con time against con time to get recruits and that kind of deal. And KeyShawn started crying and saying that he would have took Oregon, but he had to go with Dion because it's Dion and all this blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, Ryan Day calling out an 80-year-old Lou Holtz and crying and wetting his panties. So, yeah, Jonathan, turn on your notifications, brother. Like Rich Castle said. JD Wilmot says, ignore that. My Chinese autocorrect screwed up. That was supposed to be Shreveport is a S-hole, I reckon. But go across the bridge to Bossier City, it's nicer. That's where the casinos are. Well, that must have been where I was at. That must have been where I was at, brother. Miami Dolphins put up 70 points. I'm guessing that secured that. It's over. Yeah, I made a little post about that, but I was actually wrong. It said 72 was the record, but I found out that 73 was the actual record. And Miami was in position to tie that, but they didn't do it. They took a knee. Nellie Martin in the house with a big $10 donation. I don't see a comment with that, Nellie, but if you want to make a comment, I will make sure I read it out. Just make a comment and then send it, and that way you get your money's worth, whatnot. If you got anything that you really want to say or touch on, I'll make sure that I read it out. My darling, let's see what we got here. Dark Iskinus is in the house. Do you think the rankings are still being unfair to Oklahoma? Was that something you covered? This year is confusing for who is the best. Well, didn't y'all move up a few spots this week? It wasn't really much movement because there really wasn't many big upsets or anything. Notre Dame lost, but they lost to a highly ranked Ohio Stank team. So they weren't going to drop very far. That's good to hear, Nelly. Glad you're feeling better. I already got that one. Perfect Cracker says, did you dream that? Look, are you really getting? Y'all still going at it, huh? Y'all still going at it. We're going to have one of those celebrity death match things, man, between Perfect Cracker and Hank. Hurts and Mayfield's on Monday Night Football. Lots of Okies in here tonight. Yeah. I remember there was a big dust-up about who could claim Jalen Hurts, Alabama or Oklahoma. I'm like, man, I never have understood that argument because he went to both schools, got a degree from Alabama. So it's a pretty easy, simple answer to me. Both universities can claim Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. So let me ask you this, Jonathan, since you're in here, if you're still in here, might have done left me already. He leaves me a lot, man. Jonathan's traumatized me a few times. I was going to ask you, Jonathan, what did you think about the whole Oregon-Colorado situation? And I want to know if you thought maybe Alabama's defense is going to be the key to the rest of this season. Do you think we're going to have to rely more on that defense? And like I said in my last podcast, if Jalen Milroe can keep it to one turnover a game, we can probably overcome that. And he did that. So defenses look really good. I mean, Ole Miss, it's not like they were a struggling offense coming into that game. They've been putting up some points and been putting up some yardage. So I have to depend on the defense. How you being rude, man? Why you tell me to shut up, man? You don't talk to your elders like that. You know I'm older than you, boy. And you know last time you was here, I told everybody about me pushing you down in that chair, man. Come back over here, man. I ain't gonna let you get out of that chair, man. I'm gonna keep pushing you down, man. You quit that smart mouth now. Let's see what we got here. Station Siegel thinks that Oklahoma's ranked about right. They're at 14th for now, but that's just his opinion. Hank's between a rock and a hard place, chicken. He's having to take up for Marshmallow Jason and at the same time try to be a good posse member. Ain't that right, Hank? Hank's a good old boy. So is Perfect Cracker, man. Hopefully y'all iron it out. Alabama has to 100% rely on the defense. I concur. I also think that I didn't know this. Now, Jalen Milroe did pass for over 200 yards, Jonathan. So I think Jalen needs to stay away, at least for now, from the middle of the road intermediate passes. The actual shorter passes to maybe to the tight end or the running back out of the backfield. He might could do that and the long ball and mix in some run with that until he can get that intermediate thing down, in my opinion. College football, Jonathan Lewis says, Colorado didn't match up. If you looked at the talent, but it will in the next 35 years. If he stays, Colorado will get blown out again before the season is over. How will it match up in 35 years? He's not really getting anybody. He's loading up on transfer portal players, in my opinion, Jonathan. To me, that's just that's hollow. And eventually, you're gonna run into the fact that you don't have anybody to back those transfer portal players up because you're not recruiting high school players as much, in my opinion. David Crotcher says every USC player should wear an entire bottle of Stetson cologne against Notre Dame. That stuff stinks. They'll win by 40. Yeah. The USC, maybe they should all paint their fingernails. I don't know, man. Married Caleb Williams' fingernails. I don't know what he would paint for the Notre Dame game on his fingernails. Maybe y'all can come up with a good suggestion for married Caleb Williams' fingernails for his fingernails. Killer Breeze says, I got to jump off. Love the show, brother. Good night, Sooner Nation. Appreciate you being here, Killer Breeze, once again. Also, before I get out of here, I'd like to say, y'all hit that like and share button. Y'all jump out of the chat, hit the like and share it. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell as well. Also, if you want to get that Outlaw Posse badge that you see all these other guys with, just hit the join button, that subscribe button. It's now $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. You'll get your badge, you'll be deputized, you get your random Four Horsemen shout out as well as possibly be the comment of the day. We don't win the SEC unless Jalen takes care of the ball, and defense has to slow down to give Jalen more time to make game adjustments. I can buy that. Say, man up. Have a debate with each other, an open debate about football, and bring the points to a debate. Yeah, I could have Hank and Cracker on here live, couldn't I? Would y'all like that? I mean, they're not exactly famous, but they're famous to us. Maybe they all painted their fingernails. Notre Dame will be focused on the paint. Yeah, they could, man. They could paint something on there, man. I don't know. Maybe something about Catholicism. Maybe it would distract them. I don't know, man. Yes, LeVar must have had a nail salon appointment. That is true. Also, after I get off from this show, we'll upload this to a podcast. At the bottom of the podcast, there's a little heart button with a little money dollar sign in it. You can also make a donation to the show through that as well. I also have a Cash App. It's $JPC316. But guess I'm fixing to, yes, please do that. Well, it's been fun once again, man. Y'all have made me have a glorious podcast tonight. Got me laughing pretty hard earlier. But I guess I'm going to get up out of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.